Welcome back to Kicking It Real. It is your host, Gabby. Just to fill you all in, Nat is still doing the most as she does every day, but just with Christmas around the corner and school in full swing for her right now, just with her, all of her commitments aren't allowing her to fully commit to the pod. So that means you're stuck with me, which I'm not going to lie, I'm also a little bit nervous to be doing this on my own, but I'm just trusting that the universe has my back. I also love just to yap and connect with other cool humans. So really, I feel like there's not that much to lose. So we're just going to get right into it. I'm starting a new segment, what I got to kick out of this week. So for me, it was Halloween, which is a little bit of like a twofold because I don't really love Halloween. Like, unpopular opinion, I remember growing up at even like the dance studio, every day of Halloween week, we would have a full week and you had to dress up like in costume, and it's fun, like kind of, but I just remember maybe this is what kind of started it for me, but just not looking forward to trying to figure out a costume for every night, let alone then actual Halloween itself, which I don't know if it goes back to my like deep issues of comparing myself to people and having to get out of that, and maybe that's what it is, but also I don't know. And now as an adult, I kind of got a little more excited about it because now I have a husband and Frankie, we did a family costume, which I will be that person that is dressing my future kids up with my dog and my husband, and it's all going to be coordinating. So that part was fun. And we were excited to be in our house since I wasn't here last year at this time. We were in New York for the season. We got trick-or-treaters and got to pass out candy. And I didn't even know how big of a Halloween fan Garrett was until this year, which I always knew he liked it, but he put his costume on right away. If you have not seen it, we did a very iconic reel on my Instagram page, but we were Ratatouille. Frankie and I were the chefs. He was the rat Remy because he is the cook of the house, which was really cute. And when we were ordering the costume, there was a rat t-shirt, I think, or a onesie. And I was like, you have to be wearing the onesie. Why would we have to commit to this? So he really excited, put on his onesie. I wasn't dressed yet when the first person rang our doorbell, and I was like, whatever. And he's like, you can't go to the door. You're not in costume. Very, very serious. He ordered, I think, 10 bags of candy. Okay, 10 bags of candy. We have a lot of kids in our neighborhood, so we were expecting a pretty good amount of people, but even at this point, I was 10 seems like probably too much. So he orders 10 because I had ordered some the day before because I forgot. Just life was crazy last week. But I ordered some the day before, and I think Amazon canceled the order, or either I just didn't actually order it. So he did a grocery delivery, orders 10 bags. We maybe had our doorbell ring 5 times. Maybe 5. Maybe there was probably 2 to 3, maybe 2 to 4 kids each time, but still we have so much leftover candy. It is just obnoxious. And it's none of the good stuff. It's all the York peppermint patty, a Heath bar. What are the other? Almond Joy. I'm where's the good candy? So it's not even fun candy that's left over, which we need to just donate it. But it was fun to be an adult. We had our friends over, hung out, had food. We were actually originally supposed to go to another friend's, allegedly, garage, Halloween party, neighborhood party, but her baby got sick. So that ended up not happening, but we just kicked it at home. That wasn't even on purpose, but Halloween was cute. I don't know. I still just don't love the decor. Give me the Christmas decor. Give me even the Thanksgiving decor. My house has all pumpkins and fall and leaves, but I don't want to be scared. I don't want the scary skeletons that my entire neighborhood seems to love, the big life-size skeletons. I don't want that. I'm not ruining the aesthetic of the house, but also no shade if you love Halloween. I just also hate being afraid, and I can't do that. So that's probably another reason for that. But that's what I got to kick out of. What I'm kicking it to the curb. This is what I've been trying to kick to the curb for my whole life, but things that I can't control. Things just happened last week that were out of my control, and less about that. I'm obviously not a I don't I don't condone toxic positivity. I do think what you think about the most is what you're going to attract and what you'll see more of. So like, what is it, the heart theory? If you try to look for hearts all the time, like you always see them more. Or if you want to see, if you think there's no yellow cars, like no one has a yellow car, you start seeing yellow cars everywhere. That kind of idea. Same with positivity. Like the more you try to find the good in things and see the good in things, the more you're actually going to find it. But things sometimes happen that aren't in control. And I am guilty of letting it consume me and being really upset about it. And I think that's because I can't control it. Like if it was something I could control, I would just fix it and make it better and own up to it if I did something wrong, like whatever it is. But when it's out of my control, I think it's more frustrating, which I do think we need to allow ourselves to be frustrated, but not let it consume your whole day. So like finding that balance, I guess. So trying my new goal, I think I've been okay at finding the balance where I can be like, wait, I'm upset about this, but I don't harp on it forever. But maybe just making that a little bit less intense. So like things I like to do, if you feel yourself also feeling this way, where you really let things out of your control affect you, I like to walk outside. I'll take Frankie. I'm like, okay, good excuse. Fresh air is, it really, I don't actually have to actually touch grass, but it's the concept of just, I got to go touch some grass. I got to be outside. Movement helps, like maybe not a full workout, but just walking, being outside. I don't know. People, I've been seeing a lot on the internet, like, oh, go outside and take a walk and don't have your headphones in. I personally never have headphones in when I'm walking outside, unless I'm on the phone. And it's never like I go outside and call someone. It's I'm already on the phone with someone and then Frankie needs to go on a walk or whatever. But I never have headphones in. Also, maybe it was a New York thing, like a safety thing. People, can never be too safe there. You cannot walk with headphones in. So I just don't. But anyways, I wouldn't walk with headphones in. However, if you're inside, I will sometimes like have to put on a good playlist and like hype myself back up. I have a really good breakup one. I posted a TikTok about it a while ago and people really love the playlist, but I need to get back into my playlist, like creation mode. When I was in college and right after college and I was driving in this, not this, I mean, I am in the suburbs now, but in Chicago when I was driving, I would always be curating playlists because I was taking dance classes in the city and driving from all my different Pure Barre studios. So I was always getting sick of songs. So I had like a good rotation, although I am notorious for throwbacks. People, when I would be on aux, would be like, can we play some current songs? I don't know. Don't know if I know them, but maybe I'll get back on my playlist game. But playlist, put on a good playlist so you feel good about yourself. I'll do a task I've been putting off. Usually it's laundry or dishes. Like we're guilty of it. But the tactile, I should have looked it up, but there's an actual study on physically doing something with your hands or your body is really good for anxiety or any negativity, but just also then you get to check a task off your to-do list, which we love. And then the last one that I always will do is call a friend, family member, whoever, but someone that you like. I won't even talk about necessarily what happened or what's going on, but just even listening to them about their life and like talking about the good things, it just like kind of brings you back down to earth. And 9 times out of 10, whatever is out of your control is not that deep. Like really, that's my motto of this year. My word of the year was intentional. I think my new motto, maybe we'll bring it into 2026, is it's not that deep. So anyways, moving right along. Now that it's just me, I wanted to talk just a little bit more about my transition phase I'm in and my branding, my personal branding that I've been kind of getting into. I started my Potentially Gabby. It didn't start out as Potentially Gabby, but it quickly evolved into that as a name. But I started my like personal branding, more professional content creation journey before last Christmas season. And it's so funny. If you already follow me, you know I'm like really big on journaling. And sorry if you've heard this a million times, but I actually had written, I have all my old journals and stuff, and I would write down, there was a period, I think it was 2019, the 10 things I wanted to happen in the next 10 years, but I would write them as if they already happened or were happening. So like, I am married to the man of my dreams. Whatever. But I actually had wrote down, like, I have a social media platform that I use to inspire other people, which is wild because that was 2019. And then fast forward to what was last year, 2024. I forgot that that was such a like deep goal I've had for so long. And I think I just kind of pushed it away and then like re-remembered it and was like, oh, I kind of think I want to do that, because if you kind of half commit to something, it's usually because you're afraid of failure, which I totally was. And I was afraid of being seen, which is why I started like a whole new account. Like I have a personal Instagram, it's on private. I actually get anxiety even clicking on it. I never go on it. I've sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I should post about this, like, or that. I don't even think I posted about getting Frankie, which is crazy because he's my puppy, if you don't know, and he's my whole entire life. But like, I haven't even posted anything. I get anxiety about it, but I don't even enjoy going on it anymore. But I started a whole new account because I was like, I'm going to just do this. And originally, my quote unquote inspiration was just showing like more behind the scenes of a professional dancer life and just that journey. Because when I was working towards becoming a rocket, I wanted to see more of like what people were doing to prepare, like what it was actually like all of those things. And obviously, social media has just evolved and grown so much, anyways, to where it was when I was, working towards it. But I just remembered like always wanting to see that more. And just me as a person is a very open book. Like I wish I could hold my cards closer to my chest, but I just naturally love sharing with people. But I started it for that and just to motivate people to do like whatever they wanted to do with their life and like take that risk and bet on themselves. Because when I was going for this dream, like I had a lot of like trials, tribulations that I felt very alone in. And it was like so isolating in that way. I remember just like going to the studio to go kick, to go practice, to go work on things on myself. I was living in Chicago. It was right after college. If you don't know anything about my story, I went to school in Michigan. I went for dance and I went back home to Chicago and lived there for a couple of years before moving to New York. But in that time, one, COVID happened, and two, there was not really a lot of jazz or tap for that matter in Chicago. It's a very heavy like ballet, modern contemporary scene. So there wasn't even a lot of training options. So I would literally go to the studio, practice on my own. And I also hate the winter, hate the cold. So I remember going in the dead of winter, like going, training, doing it on my own. And there were days where I would watch back the videos I took of myself and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I'm not as good as other people, was constantly comparing myself to other people. So like now being on the other side of it and knowing what it took and knowing how I was able to get through that, like I just, one, you can apply it to really anything you want to do in life. It doesn't even have to be towards dance, but to just like encouraging people so that we don't have to be alone, right? Like we don't have to be by ourselves and do things behind closed doors and like work towards things, because it's hard. Like it's hard to show up every day. Like there were days where I would go and I would like do everything once and be like, that's all I have in me today. But honestly, that builds reps, like even just going and doing it. But then other days, like I did talk myself out of it. I didn't go. It wasn't often. And obviously, the more you kind of flex that muscle, you know that just going there and starting usually helps. But it's hard. It's hard to do it. So I share my struggles, share my journey to hopefully inspire other people. Like if you're going through it and you don't think you should keep going, or you don't think you have what it takes, like to take a step back and be like, wait, maybe I do. I have one friend who's not a dancer. And she even told me not to give away like too many personal details, but she had told me that she found my account before we were friends in person, and that she was the type of person that if she, trying to think of an example that's not actually what the example was. If she, let's say she was applying for a job in whatever, and she didn't get that job on the first try. Like she would have been like, okay, that's not for me. Like, let me completely pivot and do something else, instead of being like, oh, wait, like I can, just because they said no the first time doesn't mean that I can't keep going. And that for me kind of also flipped a little switch in my brain too, of like, oh yeah, this is such a universal feeling that we all have, that not everyone has that example of dance. Like dance, I think, is easier because you have to audition multiple times for things, but it even applies to anything in real life. I like love seeing those stories of Oprah or Bill Gates or all their failures, quote unquote failures, and then like where they are now and how they had to go through things, or even just the evolution of where people take their professional lives. There's this one girl I followed her forever on Instagram. She started as a fitness girly, like fitness, nutrition, whatever. She would post all that kind of stuff. Now, and fast forward, she owns my like favorite clothing brand ever, athleisure, like athletic, whatever. She owned, and she's a Forbes 30 under 30, like super successful. And then I thought about it the other day. I'm like, wait, there was a moment she was literally launching, maybe she did launch it actually. She launched a fitness like workout app. And I'm like, wait, that's for sure not a thing anymore. And she has completely evolved and shifted. And so just remembering that you can keep trying things, you can shift, adapt, like you can pivot, you can do whatever you want to do. So long story long, I wanted to share my life with other people, to show people they're not alone, to show people it's possible, and also just find more like-minded people in that regard too. Because I think in the time too, I never actually saw myself as like an underdog, because I grew up like as in a privileged life. Like I'm not blind to that. Like I had two parents who loved me. I was able to do the things I enjoyed. I was able to go to college. Like I lived in a safe neighborhood, all the things. Like I was privileged. So like it's hard to feel bad for yourself, or to feel like you're allowed to be discouraged and have those thoughts when you come from that. But just everyone has their own thing going on. So that was kind of my long why I started all this. But I'm just hopeful that it can keep evolving with me. Dance will always be my first love, and I do believe it's like literally a relationship. Like you, to me, like I have a relationship with dance, and I'm sure as a dancer, or if you played any type of sport or anything growing up, I'm sure you can relate. And I want to do an episode on that. I'm gonna have to do an episode on that. Just like the ups and downs of dance and being a dancer. It's so real. So I don't think it's ever gonna leave. And I do enjoy spreading my knowledge, spreading what I've learned, like both in mindset lessons and physical technicality. Like I love sharing that with other dancers. But in general, like I don't see myself performing professionally anymore. So like I'm looking for the next thing for me, which is really exciting and really scary, because when I decided to not go back to New York, I didn't have a clear plan. Like it was just a feeling. It was just a feeling of like, it's time to move on. There's something else out there that's waiting for me. And I'm just a big believer. And if you don't close one door, your other doors aren't going to open. And so like fully closing a chapter and being like, that was great. That was what it was. And it's time to move on. So I kind of just like went on a gut feeling, and have been doing everything on just like a feeling of like, okay, this is feeling good. This is feeling like something I'm going to want to do. And even this podcast, I mean, it's been on my vision board for years, but I'm still scared. Like, I don't know necessarily what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what's happening, but I know it's something I want to do. And why not now? Why not me? That's what I would always say to myself too, once I kind of got in a better headspace of like, instead of looking at other people and like, oh, it could never be me. And like, why would it be me? Why would it not be you? Like, why can't you do it? They're doing it. There's no reason that you can't do it as well. I don't know. Big believer in just being able to choose your own destiny, like create your own path. But hopefully it just keeps like evolving with me. I don't know where life's going to take me. I just want to keep inspiring other people in like all areas of their life, just to be their happiest, healthiest, most confident selves. just because I don't know, life's too short, but also life's long. Like, make the most of it. Nothing has to be forever. Yeah, all the things. So I'm excited to see kind of where it goes. I'm excited to see where this podcast goes and bring in some people. But I don't know, I'm playing with some segments. So do you guys have any like thoughts? DMs, of course, always open, but I love ending, which we were already doing, what I'm excited for coming up, which I am going home this weekend. I am so excited and not excited. I'm from Chicago. Like I said that earlier. I'm from Chicago. My parents are moving down to Texas in end of December. They're building a house really close to mine. Super pumped, but obviously I'm really close with all of my extended family. My brother's still in Chicago. We lived in the same house for my entire life. So my parents almost 30 years have been in the same house. So lots of roots there, but I'm going home. I haven't lived there since 2021. That's when I moved to New York. And then from New York, we moved here to Houston in technically 2022. Then we went back to New York for a season and then back 2023. Yeah, I don't know. So 2022, 2023, we moved into our house that we built in 2023. So haven't lived there in a while. And I grew up always saying I wasn't going to live in the cold. I remember specifically, I had to have been, I don't know why I say 8. I don't know how old I was, but like that age frame, I was outside waiting for the bus, freezing my butt off. And once I could understand that people lived warm places full time, I was literally like, why are we here? Why are we living here? I don't understand. I've been trying to orchestrate a family move ever since then. And I don't know, before I moved to New York, I had just a realization of like, I wanted to live somewhere warm full time. And I knew once I moved to New York, I wouldn't move back, which is funny because I also wrote that in my 2019 journal that I would live somewhere warm. Just because for me, I also have bad seasonal depression, which didn't know that was a thing until post college. I was like, what's going on? I'm so unmotivated and I don't want to do anything. Like, this is weird. And I Googled it and seasonal depression came up and I was like, oh, cool. So that's what I have for sure. But I was like, I just cannot be miserable for 6+ months every single, like in my day-to-day life. Like, it's just not worth it. Like, I need to have I don't know, set myself up for success. I can't do it. So I was like, I'm not moving back, as much as I literally miss my family so much, but we're creating new people here, new friends, Garrett's family's here. But I'm excited to go home to see everyone. I'm seeing my godsons, which they're like, oh my gosh, 8. I don't know. It's crazy. They're 8 and like 6, and I have 2 littles, and I literally grew up. I watched them grow up. I would go to my cousin's house every single week, at least once a week since they were born, to see them, minus some COVID time. But so it's hard now, especially when I go home because they're in school. So I can't just like pop by in the middle of the week and come hang out with them. I'm like, can they not have school? Like, that's really, really getting in the way of our quality time. But I haven't got to really spend quality time with them in a while. So I'm very, very excited for that. But I'm scared for the cold because it's getting cold here. It was 52 this morning and it was not correct. Like, I was cold. My full heaters were all the way up. My seat warmers, my car has a steering wheel warmer, which that's nice, but just still not good. So I'm very nervous for that. I think I've adjusted very fast. I like literally, when it's like, what was it, 2 weeks ago, I went out to dinner. We were outside. It was, I think it was high 60s, low 70s, slight breeze. And I was like, oh, it's cold. And then I was like, oh, I've gone soft. This is good, but also not mad about it. But also I'm scared for the airport situation because our government's just not here anymore. Like, they're like, you know what? Nope, not doing that anymore. I don't understand any of that. I don't know how you can just like not be open. Like, it's not a McDonald's. It's not like, oh, it's not Chick-fil-A, like closed for Sundays. Like, I don't get it. I've been seeing some crazy things online about just the lines at the airport and how chaotic it is, even if you have TSA pre-check, which we do have because we are probably semi to full professional travelers, but so I'm a little nervous for that, but it's gonna be good. It'll be worth it. We're just gonna get there super early. We like to fly in the morning just so we can wake up and go and like be there first thing. But now it's like, oh, how early are we gonna need to be there? Because I also hate when you fly too early, like 5 a.m. That's too early because then I have to get up by 2:30, 2:33 at the very, very latest. And like that's not a full night's sleep. But if we're flying out at 6:30, so I can get up at 4, and it's still early, don't get me wrong, but I don't like land in Chicago and then have like a weird day and I'm like a zombie all day. When we fly at 5, I'm literally a zombie all day there, which sucks. So that'll be good, 6:30, but we'll report back next week on the airport if you're planning on traveling in the foreseeable future, I guess. I don't understand how long this whole thing is going on for, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I am very excited to keep going. I want this podcast specifically, like it's about you and us and this community. So I want to hear from you, like who you would like to hear speak, like as a guest, if you have anyone, or like what topics you want to hear about. I'm planning on, having a little bit more in-depth just conversations about, I have a whole list. I have so many things to say, all of the things to keep talking about. But I want to hear from you. So make sure to follow the Instagram page at kickingitrealpod. I have a little like link in the bio to where it's just like an open submission form of anything you want to hear, any questions, like all the things. Like I live for those interactions. So don't be afraid to do that. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok at Potentially Gabby. Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you guys for being here. It's gonna be a ride. It's gonna be fun for sure, but it's gonna be a ride. So thanks for tuning in and can't wait to kick it real with you next time.